Hey, welcome back to Techopolis 3, where in the last video, we set up a bunch of infrastructure in the end to fuel the end technium machine to eventually make end technium. As you can see, I've left this running for quite a while, and it's produced quite a lot of technium. A lot more than I thought I'd be able to get in this time. But it's worth noting that the setup that I had at the end of the last video wasn't complete, and I acknowledge that. Namely, this, and all of these filters too. There was a lot of just random faff to do in between that I just did not have the time for at the end of the previous recording. So I've done all of that on my own, and I've had to fix up a couple things because they weren't fully logistically sound. Like, if I have 16 different colors to sort into, what do I do about the ender eyes? And also, something that I had already figured out earlier in the recording is that you don't just import into the Fluxcrafter. It has to go in through a hopper. Or I guess technically no, it doesn't need to be a hopper, it works with a chest as well. And I'm guessing just any inventory. But hoppers are smaller, and it looks like it makes sense. So I've had to put an intermediary layer in, and a separate wire to put the Eyes of Ender through. And there's been a couple other things that I've had to fiddle with to keep other machines logistically sound, and you can probably see a couple other things that I've built on my own, because when I'm making everything through the ME system, there's quite a few dimensional ores that I'm gonna need. Because some of these ores that I thought were fine do not provide nearly enough for what I need. So I've made a dimensional ore miner for lead, aluminium, and copper. I've also had to set up replica again, and ender ore, something that I didn't know about until I was exploring the JEI. Ender ore can just directly make ender pearls, and it's orders of magnitude faster than what the simulation chambers can give me. As such, ender pearls aren't a problem anymore. It has meant that I've had to quite significantly upgrade the infrastructure around here for the ore processing, and I've tripled most of the machines to make things a bit quicker, but this all works now, and I'm processing a lot more ores than I was before. What else have I set up? I guess while I'm along the same line of thinking, there were a lot of things that I used to make the eyes that I hadn't actually automated properly, such as things that go through the atomic reconstructor, or entro crystals. I've been doing a lot of just fiddling with all the infrastructure, getting things prepared, because God knows I'm gonna have to push it really far. And I guess, to get back on track, that's the point of this video, is to prepare as much as I can for Final Technium. I've already been doing a lot of that, but it's just kind of boring things that would be cut out of the video anyway. Now I'm left with just the things that are actual progress, like an entirely new multi-block, or anything involving end technium. So I think I'll get started on that. The quests kind of give away that I've already used a couple end technium ingots, because I had to upgrade my power a bit more. I'm producing about twice as much as I was before, and that seems to be enough. But I still haven't made a technium machine frame, and that's where most things of note actually come from. Although, surprisingly, unlike with every other technium machine frame, this can't be used in machines to speed them up. So, I guess end technium doesn't have quite as much of a use case, but I guess it makes up for it in just quantity that it's required. Anyway, I'm rambling. I should only need 3 machine frames total, so I guess I can do that now. I just need a bit of nuggets, some iridium gears, and some dash gears, and then that should make all of the end technium machine frames I should ever need. While I'm here, I kind of want to just complete the turbine quest. There we go. But otherwise, I'm not going to need to touch turbines again. And I can see here that there's a weather machine? I'm not sure why I need it, but if I can turn off the rain, that's kind of nice. Ooh, it's expensive though, but I've got enough to spare. And I did just make those end technium turbine coils, so there's a weather machine. And the weather modules are also pretty cheap, so there's that. So then, do I just place this down with the weather module I want? Oh, it doesn't need energy. So then if I just stick the weather module in... Oh! Wait. Does it get consumed? Okay. That changes how I thought this worked. Yeah, it looks like it basically just triggers the weather change command, or something like that. I guess I'll use it if I need to change the weather, but otherwise I'm just gonna shelve that for now. And move on to the last thing of note in this tree, the technium compressor, which looks expensive, but I've made probably thousands of shattered singularities at this point, with all the quantum ingots I need. So another 6 is nothing to worry about. Neither is the iridium, really. So there, the technium compressor control block. But it doesn't have the G thing for me to see what the multi-block itself is. But I know it does have a multi-block. And it's big. Wow. That's almost 4 stacks of reinforced machine casings. And every single technium machine frame. Oh god, and more enhanced ender ingot blocks. It's putting everything expensive in one place. Okay. I just want to see one thing. I got a very brief look at that multi-block. Let me see that again. Okay, it's not huge, but I am going to have trouble placing that somewhere. I think just by height alone, it's not going to fit in any of the rooms that I've already laid out. So I think it's time that I break out onto the surface. I might need to move the rocket though. Hang on, let me just see. The rocket fits, but it doesn't make sense putting a ceiling above the rocket. But it's not going to fly. I think this will be fine. Well, I'm just going to finish the rest of this platform and see how I feel. And already, I feel like this platform is a bit big for just a balcony area. So I might want to change this up a little bit. It means then I can keep the sky clear above the rocket ship, but I still need to figure out some kind of a design here. Hang on. Maybe putting a staircase in will help me think of some kind of design. And you know what? I think it kind of has. At the very least, I know that I want to clear out a pretty large area up here. How wide I go, I'm not sure. But I feel like I want to go pretty big. I might not be able to go too big, because then I start breaking into other things. But I can still make this area quite large. Oh, I'm wondering if I go even bigger than this. And I do still want somewhat of a balcony here, just to make it fit in with the rest of the design in some way. But it doesn't have to be super prominent. And I kind of want to try bringing the logs over. But that doesn't look great. But I think I can make it work with just a few tweaks. I feel like that works. And it frames the rocket ship a bit nicer. But I feel like I might be getting a bit too in the weeds here too early. I still think I should make this a little bit bigger. It's probably worth me tidying it up a little bit. And if I'm already faking it, why not just add a bit of artificial terraining? Nobody has to know. And now that these two light holes are somewhat easier to spot, I'm going to need to do something about covering them cleanly. Are facades transparent? It makes sense that cables are, but if I put a facade on top, does that stop it from working? No, I'm still getting a redstone output from the daylight detector. And I don't think you can hide anything much smoother than with a cable facade. Case in point, where were they? There. Maybe I don't want them to be so perfect, because I need to make sure I don't build anything on top of them. But I've got plenty of space here. And I'm really not sure what else I'm going to put on here other than the technium compressor. I would say the final technium machine, but that also has to be really, really high up. Oh, and it requires specific weather. That's why you make the weather machine. Tangents aside, I need to build up this technium compressor. So, how much stuff do I need? I guess I can start with the reinforced machine casings. It doesn't seem to need any derivatives, so just 227. Missing a bit of advanced technium, but that's not a problem. I guess there's something I forgot to mention. I've added a drawer to every technium production, just so I can stockpile all of them, because I know I need all of them in very, very large quantities soon. More so than what the technium compressor requires. I guess it's probably worth me grabbing about a stack of all of these then. Anyway, I can set the machine casings going. What else should I do? I can do the black iron. That is not super cheap. I do still need a lot of iron, but I have near infinite dyes at this point. Although it's probably worth me making a recipe because I need black iron blocks. And I'd rather not have to do the maths for all of this. Oh, and it turns out that I'm missing about half the dye base that I need. Okay, I'll just upgrade its storage then. And while I wait for it to fill, I'll do some other things. 5 beacons. Not very difficult at all. 9 Ender Star blocks. I've already made a couple hundred of them, and I've got plenty spare. I can probably face the enhanced Ender Ingot blocks, because now that I've got plenty of everything I need for this, it might not be so much of a problem. But it's still probably a bit difficult to figure out some of the logistics here. So instead, I'll just have it output into 2 different chests, and then I can just set it going to make everything I need for me. And when it's done, just put the items in these chests into their respective machines, and I should be fine. I don't know. I'll come back to that, because this is going to take a long time to go through. I can still speed things up a bit, but I may as well do some other things while I wait, such as the black iron. That's also probably going to take a while, but not as long. So I'll just leave both of those to go while I work through all of the machine frames. I only need 1 end technium machine frame, which I already have, but I was saving that for something else. So I'll just make another one, and I guess I'll just leave it in storage. As for the others, I already have recipes for them all, so I'll just go down the line. 17 basic, 12 advanced, 12 elite, but I've already got 6, so just another 6. Then I need 6 ultimate, I've already got 5, so just 1 more. Then 12 hellish. This one I'm actually missing quite a lot of stuff, but there's plenty of spare netherite for me to steal. Fixing the netherite production has made it very good, but I seem to have overproduced enderium because I've almost completely run out of platinum. And I've also run out of inanite to make more. I guess I can steal out of the reactor? So there, now I can make them. Then just 4 lunatechnium, and that doesn't have any problems either. So there, that's all of the machine frames, meaning the only thing left for the technium compressor is the enhanced ender ingots. And it's going okay. I still need a lot of ender stars, but I might have a bit of a cheat for that. There's nothing saying I can't steal my spares from the end technium production, and that'll speed things along quite well, although the rest I still need to do this way. But then the main thing is the rest of the ender ingots, and that just seems to be a limitation of my storage space. But now I'm just going to have to very slowly port everything over. I can at least simplify things a bit by adding another chest in here. So now I'll just speed this up with the timer and bottle, and I should have the ender ingots in no time. Now it's sent everything through here, and I need to put it through the ender crafter. So then there, that should be everything I need to make the technium compressor. And that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. But since I don't really have an easy way of seeing the multi-block for this, I'll just buy the placer. So then, where do I want to put this? How big is it? 11 by 11. So then, whether or not I do it 11 blocks from that wall or from that wall, it's pretty much going to cover the center. So then I think I'll try to shove it in this corner as much as I can. Something like this. Oh, but then it's on top of the light pillars. So then I'll put it in the other corner. It's still a huge structure. But I'm okay with this positioning. Oh, and it counts as a beacon. I guess it makes sense. But I just wasn't expecting that. Well, even though I've got the technium compressor, I still need to connect it up to the usual things. I need to cable in the power, and then I need to bring the ME system up, but I don't need to connect it in just yet, because I'm still not entirely sure how I need to use this compressor. I mean, it just makes all the singularities, but I'm wondering how many of these I should do manually, and how many I should automate. The technium one, just by the nature of all the different recipes, I'm probably going to have to do that manually. But the others, I'm not sure. I can probably do all of them automatically. Or at the very least, I don't see a reason not to. And all I should need to do is just stick it there with an output line and connect in the ME system. And I guess while I'm here, I may as well make all the patterns. And I can see which of these I need to make new recipes for. Netherite. It's not the kind of thing that I can necessarily make a pattern for. I just need to steal some from the hellish technium production. But I can probably do that manually. I will at least make a recipe to convert the blocks, so I don't have to do that myself. Dimensional, I will come back to that. Super empowered. I think I should have what I need for that. Yeah, because I've got a recipe for the crystal block, so just convert it into the crystals itself. Oof, and then enhanced ender ingots. That's another one I'm going to have to come back to. But for now, that's quite a lot of the stuff out of the way, singularity-wise. But yeah, there's two things I need to come back to here. The enhanced ender ingots. I might just need a separate ender crafter, and I'm gonna have to hook up the interdimensional infuser in the end. But otherwise, this might not be so bad. I mean, right now, I'm quite severely lacking on platinum, but I don't think this is too big of a deal. I can set up the interdimensional infuser in the end somewhat easily. I just need to fiddle around with the cables a bit to get this all to fit without a machine extender. And then I'll make another ender crafter, and I can probably just put it there and set it up in more or less the same way. I'll put in a few more ender alternators to make this a little bit quicker, but then I just transfer across the pattern and it should work. Yeah, technically. I just need a bit of platinum though. While I'm here, oh, I can just make dimensional platinum. That's so much easier than trying to deal with inanite. I can make the dimensional ore, no problem, but I'll have to come back to it for where I put the dimensional miner itself. Because I'm kind of running out of space. I'll figure that out later. For now, that's basically the ender singularity figured out. So then the last one is dimensional shards. And dimensional shards are a lot, but I don't see this being that bad. Diamonds, iron, dimensional ore, I guess even glowstone, they're nothing. Alien ingots, also pretty much nothing. Super empowered crystals, I mean, I've already kind of figured that out. Dragon's breath, I've got tens of thousands of that. Space cheese and prismarine. Space cheese, I'm gonna have to set up a thing in the empowerer. Oh, and a thing for all the different stones. This might be a bit more than I thought it was. And then the prismarine, quartz in the atomic reconstructor. That's nothing. Or a matter ball in an enrichment chamber. I'm not sure which is easier, but the matter ball is quicker, so I'll go with that. So then, yeah, it's pretty much just the space cheese. I do already have an empowerer, but there's no way I'm hijacking this to make space cheese for me. So I'm gonna have to make another one. It's not super expensive. I've already dealt with a lot of this before. So it's not really hard to make all the stuff I need for this again. I guess I can set it up here? I'm not sure what else the space is used for. I'm just not super sure how to set this up. I guess I can do it kind of similarly to how I did it in the other room. I can just connect all of these via a logistical sorter and then choose whatever color it goes into. So then I'll make a recipe for space cheese. Then I'll just make filters for all the respective stones to go in their respective places. +1 for moon curd. Oh, and then I need to make a recipe for moon curd. That means I need milk. Okay. I can make a milker fairly easily, but then I need to get a cow. It's probably risky to bring the cow around this way. I hope it's not just gonna die instantly. Nope, it's fine. Okay. I'm not sure where to put you, though. What if I just stick him in this corner? Yeah, that seems fine. It's maybe not the most humane thing to do, but it works. There we go. I've got milk. Cool. Do I have a spare fluid injector? Yes. So then I can make that moon curd recipe, stick it in, and it should work. I don't have enough milk yet. If I try a smaller one, yeah, it does. Okay, so, right. I still need to set up the thing for the various stones to get the space cheese. But that's gonna be a bit interesting. I think I can probably steal this infuser to get one of the stones, but I'm gonna have to make another one. Do I have time to make another interdimensional infuser? Maybe. Let's see what I can do here. I mostly just need all the reinforced machine casings. Everything else is pretty easy. And I don't need too terribly many of them. And then I just need to convert the machine casings into the derivatives. And then I just build it up here on the moon. I've built the multi-block plenty of times before, you don't need to see it again. And then I can just connect one of these as the Mars infuser, and the other one as Mercury. Then I just make the pattern for the respective stones, and then I can queue up the space cheese to work. Hopefully it does. It seems to be stuck on Mars stone. Oh, that would be why. I forgot to extract the item. Okay, there we go. And I guess it worked in the Empowerer as well. So now, I can make dimensional shards. Yeah. Which is the last thing that I should need for any of the singularities. I guess I still haven't tested if this compressor works. So let me start. I can probably afford a lot of undefined singularities. I'm gonna need a lot of them anyway. Okay, yeah, it's working. So I guess that's proof that the compressor works. And then I've got a lot of technium. I'm not sure how much of the end technium I can afford to spend. I can get more if I need it later. I probably still have some spare. So then once this has all gone through, I can just make a bunch of technium singularities. And that's 8 fairly easily, actually. I was expecting the technium singularity to be a bit more expensive than that, but I also wasn't expecting to get so much end technium so easily. Well then, that's one of the singularities. And I can probably get most of these quite easily. There's only really a couple standouts. Dimensional, the shards are still kind of expensive. Enhanced Ender, yeah, that's a big deal. Quantum, super empowered crystals. But everything else, I probably just need to set the recipe going, and then I'll be fine. But that's all something that I can do between videos. I'm just wondering if there's anything else of note that I need to do now. Because there's still a lot of stuff to do, but I might want to leave a lot of it for next time. And I don't have much time left to do anything big. So yeah, I might just have to leave this here. I've done a decent amount. And you know what, just looking through the tree here, there's some quests that I forgot to complete, like all the different technium components. So then, with the exception of the other weather modules, that's now every end technium quest completed. So then next time, I wonder how much of this I can complete. I've set up all the infrastructure now to get pretty much every singularity, so I'll leave that running between videos. I'll just need to do the maths on how many ultimate singularities I need. That depends on how many ultimate ingots I need, but it seems to be more or less 1-to-1. I do need a lot of everything though. Yeah, and there's other things that I still need to set up, but most of that I can leave until next time. So I think I might just have to call this here. I can't think of anything else that I've got time for. There's a lot that I can do on my own to continue preparations, and then if all goes to plan, I reckon next video I can have a final technium ingot. I don't know, that might be too ambitious of me, but it's possible. That's for me to figure out on my own between videos. For now, I'm pretty satisfied with this progress. We've set up the technium compressor, along with a bunch of stuff for infrastructure to run all the singularities, to prepare for final technium next time. Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well. Well, I think that's all I have to say, so I'm gonna call the video here. Bye.